definitely stories that I've written that I've just, now I read them and I'm just cringe so bad.
Yeah.
Like, and what I actually went and read my report of that '98 team.
You did. You read that.
Oh, dude, and I'm bummed.
Fuck. I want to read that. I want to read that.
I'm bummed out. I did a bad job.
Yeah. Did you really? I'd love to read that because that was 20 years ago. So what Craig is referring to here is a story that he wrote in the magazine that he was editing, New Zealand Surfing Magazine, in 1998, which was the World Grom titles in Bali.
Quicksilver
World Grom titles.
Yeah.
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 And what was your position at the time?
Were
you?
No, I wasn't even the editor at that stage. But
you weren't the editor.
No, I was, but senior photographer, and at that stage, New Zealand Surfing Magazine had a history of sending somebody along with the team, but not part of the team. But we would send somebody along with the team to document the team, the New Zealand junior team, competing in the only international event that New Zealand teams would compete in at that stage.
Yeah.
And so I'd done 3 by that stage, gone 3 years in a row to Kuta, and stayed with the New Zealand team. And then that year, and I'd written, and traditionally, New Zealand Surfing Magazine, because I mean, look, we're all operating with our friends,
it's a small community. It's a very small community.
And one of the things in a small community, which is gnarly for a writer or a photographer in the New Zealand surf community, is you don't want to piss anybody off, and you don't want to offend anyone because you've got to go surfing with them the next week. And
you probably live in the same town as them. You're probably neighbours with them. Like, it's that small.
Totally. And like, the thing is, like, I could say if I roasted some of the Gizzy guys, well, the next time I go to Gizzy...
But why would you even want to go to Gizzy anyway?
Oh, well...
I have a love-hate relationship with Gisborne.
Oh, you do, eh?
Yeah, I do. It's weird.
Yeah, no, I love Gizzy. Yeah. But it's interesting. I mean, I really, really like Gizzy, but there are times after about 5 days, I'm going, oh yeah, okay, I'm ready to go now.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the article that we're talking about was the first time in a long time that somebody stepped at me, the writer stepped out of saying, hey, everything's going really well.
You didn't sugarcoat shit.
I didn't sugarcoat the article, and I actually put it out there how badly the team had done, and but the way that I wrote it was immature, and I outed a couple of guys that I shouldn't have outed, because it wasn't really, and even though I tried to, in the article, I tried to say that these guys, I mean, they were the ringleaders, there's no doubt about that, but my point...
Jai.
Yes, Jai.
Yes, it fucking was Jai. I know it was Jai.
Yeah, we'll see. So... oh, fuck you, Luke.
well, I'll say it's Jai. It was Jai. Jai knows it was Jai.
Jai knows it was Jai, and we all do know it was Jai. But look, the thing with Jai, my point that I didn't... the reason I'm saying the article was badly written was, even though I outed Jai and said that, he was one of the main ringleaders, the point of the article, and it doesn't really hammer it home, is that whatever Jai did was fine, but there should have been the management should have been able to rein him in, and the issue was that management at the time didn't feel that they could rein Jai in, and so Jai just went off on a tangent, and he just did what Jai does, and that's fine.
Yeah. Well, he was a 17, 18-year-old kid in a fucking playground of a place.
Of course, and that's the thing with, like, and as you know, like, within 2 years, they just stopped having the Bali Groms in Kuta because it was too gnarly.
It was too gnarly. Like, Now that I think back to that, like,
Yeah.
it was so fucked up. Like, there were like fucking 12-year-old kids, 13, 14, 15, up to 18, like kids in
Yeah.
Bali with
Yeah.
minimal management.
Not Bali,
Kuta.
downtown Kuta.
Okay, and Kuta was just the grimiest shithole of a place with like bars that it didn't matter like how old you were. You'd go to a bar, like there'd be 13-year-old kids at bars doing tequila shots at 3 a.m. Like, it was fucked up.
It was, and you know, like
Imagine trying to do that now.
well, you wouldn't.
There's no way you could do it.
No, you just couldn't. And I mean, you know, the thing is, like, the teams earlier than that, like, what we were also seeing was we were seeing Kuta sort of explode and, you know, like, and, you know, get bigger and bigger. And you know, the earlier teams, you know, they weren't necessarily so exposed to all of that sort of stuff. But what was happening was Kuta was getting bigger and gnarlier and all that. So every year for each team, it was getting harder. And also, I mean, the real issue and the real story behind that, or the reason I wrote that story the way or didn't sugarcoat it and wrote the story the way I did, was because it was so obvious that the management just had no infrastructure or nothing in place to look after the team properly. And the reason the team, I mean, on paper, that team was absolutely one of the best teams you could have. It was like one of the main reasons that I was able to go to my publisher, hey, I need to go in 1998, is because this team's really good and they're going to do well.
They're going to do well. They're going to do the best they've ever done.
Absolutely. And you used to think that every year, and you come up with an excuse every year. But then what we were also seeing was every year, the team was getting worse and worse. The world rankings for the team was getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And you're sort of going, what's going on here?
That's because Kuta just kept on getting better and better and better and better. Because Kuta at the time was turning from like rice fields into dirty, grimy nightclubs.
Oh, absolutely.
And when you're like, I remember, man, I had the best times of my life at that point. I hadn't had much of a life because I was only like 14 or 15. But when you're that age and you're thrown into this like wonderland of experiences, going to like nightclubs, like whenever you wanted, every night. We barely even had to sneak out of our rooms. We just walk out of our rooms.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know. There's no management. There's no management. Because like 14, 15-year-old kids, we're going to fucking nightclubs till like 3 a.m, getting hammered drunk, which means only 3 beers. Really.
Yeah.
3 beers. I think I had my first shot of tequila at some
You probably had a jam jar.
I would have had jungle juices, jam jars, anything, man. Like,
well, the funniest thing for me is like I got frustrated with the team and I bailed, and I was just like, I'm going with Dwayne Matar and Pando over to Noosa Boggin for a couple of days, and I'll just come back for the finals because, like, if the team does well, this team's not going well, they're already into the repecharges. Your chances of winning repecharges, I mean, progressing, is very low. You know, it's going to be the guys generally in a contest that are winning heats from the start that are going to win at the end.
They got the momentum. Yeah, I didn't make it through my repecharges. Yeah, I wasn't even in the event that year. I was second reserve.
It was 99 when we first competed, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And that's when we got ripped off with a taggy.
No, that was in Australia.
No, we got ripped off with a taggy.
No, that was in 2000.
No, I'm saying we got ripped off in the tag team. Ripped off. Yeah. When we lost, came second in the tag team.
Yes.
Was for last year, it was in Bali.
Yeah, in 2000.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, so 99. See, it all merges into one.
Oh, I know. It's a big blur when you're a drunk 15-year-old.
And 60, yeah. Well, anyway, so I bailed from the team because I was just going, dude, and I'll come back on the finals day because if they're doing well, I'll be there for the finals anyway. So anyway, we came back the night before the finals after being in Noosa Boggin, and Dwayne and I and Pando and Corky and we went out. Well, we're adults. We can go out.
Oh, you can go out, but us 15, 16-year-olds can't.
I'm not part of the management.
Is that what you're saying? Hey, there were no drinking laws over there, okay?
Well, I'm not management. So I'm not trying to... I'm the magazine guy, so I'm independent of
Yeah, you were
surfing
slick.
New
Yeah,
Zealand
yeah.
anyway.
You weren't a parent or a manager or anything.
So anyway, we go out to dinner and
Hey, wait, they never told us that we couldn't go out and get on the piss anyway.
yes, they did.
Well, I can't remember that.
Well, you're probably talking to Jai.
Fuck, selective hearing.
Selective. Anyway, so we rock into we go out for dinner and then we go to the Bounty, old Bounty, and we're probably pretty drunk by that stage. Anyway, I'm looking around the Bounty and I'm like going, is that Luke Harwood on that box? Is that Kylie Millick over on that? The whole New Zealand team was out dancing, and I'm going, he's Cedarman. What the fuck? Like 14, like you're saying,
Man.
14, and you guys were owning. You know how they used to have all those dancing boxes?
Yeah, the dancing boxes.
Like,
Yeah, I remember being up on those things.
You were. I remember seeing you up
Fucking
on
hell,
it.
I probably had my shirt off, swinging it around the air or something.
And me and Dwayne and Panda were up on the top.
I think
top
I
floor.
remember that
and
night.
We're like looking.
I do remember that night.
And we're looking down at you guys going, these guys are supposed to be competing tomorrow.
Nah, it was at Paddy's. That was at Paddy's.
Was it?
I remember that night.
Yeah, it was Paddy's, you're right.
Yeah, it was Paddy's.
Yeah. It was just like, oh my God.
Man, but like...
If I could have taken a photo, I'm going, oh, there's the New Zealand team photo right there.
Yeah, and that's a perfect example of those teams. Because for me, it wasn't like going over on those trips to compete as one of the best junior athletes in the world, and definitely in New Zealand. It was less about the competition and more about... It was a coming of age in terms of partying. For me, like it was how I got into partying. Was those trips? It wasn't surfing. It wasn't competitive surfing. That's how I fucking learnt how to party.
And that's my point. And that was the point of the article. It's like we need.
And that article was so spot on because it was so true. Because these kids were going overseas to try and represent their country and potentially bring home a world title. But instead, they were fucking letting loose on the dance floor at the Bounty and Paddy's and shit.
And I'm not saying that the teams earlier didn't do that either, because they did.
But they just weren't as good at it as we were.
No, they were.
Were they?
Oh, fuck. Well, imagine what...
Were they more discreet or something? Like, I'm just like, why didn't you write the article for one of the previous teams?
Because things had come to a head.
Oh, okay.
So
you saw it for what was actually going on, which was a bunch of kids going overseas. And
well, I mean, what you were also seeing was like you're seeing
debaucherous evenings.
No, you were seeing the management like absolutely feeling like they had their hands tied, where they would go, "Don't rent a scooter, don't go out at night." The reason we're saying to you there's a 10 o'clock curfew is not because we don't think you can self-govern. It's because it's dangerous. And it is. You know it's dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, you nearly got stabbed that year.
I nearly got stabbed a couple of times.
Yeah, right. So, like a 14-year-old shouldn't really be in that position.
Yeah, but you grow up. Like, every time someone threatens to stab you, it's one of those little life lessons that you learn.
Don't do that again or you might get...
Exactly.
A kidney removed.
Yeah, someone might actually shank you up in a dark alley. Because that was what we're dealing with. There was shitloads of dark alleys there that we could have easily got shanked up in.
Well, I mean, we talked the other day about, when the watch incident.
The watch incident, which I went over on a podcast a couple of podcasts ago.
And when that happened, I mean, I was there and I was the guy that I actually bailed you out. It was heavy, bro.
Like, it was heavy.
It can go, those back then, those incidents can go either way.
Yeah. And the thing is too, because like I think I'd only been there for a couple of days. We'd only been there for a couple of days, and I'm just so fresh. And I come from fucking Raglan, which is like super mellow place, and you never have any experiences like this before. So when you're thrown into this third world country where shit's a little bit wayward, and some guy is just like, you should buy this $3 watch off me, or I'm going to fucking cut your throat. Not in those exact words, but more so those exact kind of physical actions.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, holy shit, is this serious? Is this real?
Yeah.
And you don't know that until you actually experience it. Someone could say, "Hey, look, it's kind of dodgy. Just have your wits about you." But you don't fucking realize how dodgy it is until you're actually going through the motions and experiencing it.
No, that's right. And I mean, the thing was, part of the management, even though I wasn't part of management, I would sit on the management teams, and I'd always sit on the team meetings. We'd have those debriefs every night and stuff. And at the start of those debriefs was like, hey, don't enter into negotiations with the watch sellers and the firecracker guys or whatever, because they think as soon as you enter into a negotiation that you're going to buy it. And that was what your issue was, that you sort of went, oh, that's rad, how much is it? As soon as you go, how much it is.
Bro, it was shiny.
I know.
It was a shiny watch.
It was a cool watch.
Yeah,
they're all cool watches.
They are all cool, but you can't buy all of them.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you can't. No.
Well, you could. They're not that
It
expensive.
pisses you off, they only last 3 days, eh?
What's that?
It pisses you off, they only last 3 days.
The watches?
Yeah, how do they...
I know.
How do they get it so dialed in?
Because they look fucking brilliant. Like, I've never seen a real Tag Heuer.
Yeah, but how do they get it? How do they... The skill that must be involved that the battery fails in 3 days.
After 3 days, yeah.
Every time.
Like, you'd think a battery that has, like, a built-in timer, a 3-day timer, would be an expensive battery, but it turns out it's not.
No.
A battery that lasts 3 days.
I don't... Like... yeah.
Or
like
hands...
every single time.
Or hands that fall off after... I think it was 2 days the hands last for. So there's like a timing mechanism for the hands to fall off after exactly 2 days.
Well, I reckon they've got a built-in... I reckon even back then they had built-in GPS, so whenever you jumped on the plane, bang.
Yeah,
you're out of,
it knows
you're out of
done.
Bali range, gone.
Watch disintegrate,
die. It was incredible.
Yeah.
Like, just every time.
But it was so easy to, like you said, get caught up in that. And we got warned that we shouldn't enter negotiations or anything with these people who are selling watches, like this guy Rocky Balboa or Michelangelo or whoever their names are. Yeah. That we shouldn't get into negotiations with these guys, because when, like, it's like a fucking magpie. When you see that shiny shit, you're like, whoa, that's shiny. I want to check that out.
Yeah, I know. But getting back to the point is, like, bad management about the reason I wrote the article is because management just felt like they couldn't send anyone home or make an example of somebody, and really things had came to a head over the years where it had got to that stage.
It was almost at that point where people were going to get sent home.
Well, no, we had a discussion. We had a management discussion where one of the, like, everybody was trying to rein in Jai, and then the girl.
Oh, you can't rein in Jigger Man. That's when Jigger Man just wants to, like,
excel.
That's when he's like, oh shit, I'm getting pushed this way. I'm gonna push back.
Yeah, and that's cool, and that's accurate.
Yeah.
But what happened was, whatever he was doing was nothing compared to what some of the girls did. And
those scandalous hoes, eh?
So you're left with your 2 top seeds. Both of them need to be sent home. There is no management at that stage. There was no mechanisms in place for those voluntary managers to go. Oh, and we had a discussion.
Because it's a big move.
It's a
to do
big
something
call.
like that.
But the deal was like, well, do you absolutely ruin the team's chance for this year, and then there's a line drawn in the sand, or do you just sort of hope that we're going to do well if we keep, just damage control at ground zero, and they also felt that if they sent somebody home, that the fallout once everybody got home would just be too gnarly for Surfing New Zealand.
Yeah, because it doesn't look good for anyone if someone gets sent back. No,
but I think also at the same time, they should have sent the 2 top seeds home and just go, which would have meant that you would have got to surf.
Fuck. Nah, I was second reserve.
I'm saying the 2 top seeds.
What do you mean the 2 top seeds?
The 2 top seeds
in each division.
In each division should have been sent home.
Really?
Oh no, they were gnarly what they were doing.
Oh, wow.
But,
See, I didn't even realise because I was like involved with everything.
Yeah, no. Well, but these are the discussions that don't happen with the kids. This is a management decision, and so that didn't happen. And that was so me writing that article was a response to how these managers totally had their hands tied. They didn't have procedures in place to manage that. And if anything, the good thing that did come out of that article was that at the next Surfing New Zealand AGM, the article was brought up.
Yeah.
And they changed the mechanisms. I'm not saying that the article meant that Jay went on to win the World Groms or anything like that. But what it did do was say, hey, look, we're no longer going to candy coat shit, and if you guys do stuff up, we're going to say that you stuffed up. And so that meant that Surfing New Zealand.
So you're putting some accountability on the kids.
Putting accountability on Surfing New Zealand.
Oh, on Surfing New Zealand.
That, like we're not going to be your happy rah guys anymore.
Yeah.
And if things go a little bit skew we're going to tell the surfing community that it has gone skew
Mm.
and I'm not saying that that article was the reason that those other things happened, but I'm saying that the article helped create a discussion around that stuff, and then things changed. So,
well, it takes something like that for change to happen, because otherwise it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, and so from that point of view, even though I was saying, it was a badly written article. There was no point in, we're pointing out one culprit, because let's be honest, the whole team.
Fuck, it was everyone. But you know what the problem is?
Yeah.
There's some people that they're not subtle with their shenanigans.
Well, that's right.
Yeah. Like, I was subtle with my shenanigans.
Yeah.
Like, I just kind of chill back and,
Yeah.
Have my
Yeah.
3 shots of vodka or whatever it is when I'm 15 in the clubs and shit. And, other people would just be all rowdy and...
Well, totally.
You just get up to mischief, but not doing it undercover.
On
the DL.
And I mean, I know I shouldn't bring up Jai, but you already have, so it's your fault.
No, but he was the ringleader for sure.
And I don't reckon that there's anything wrong with that. Like
that was just him. Like that's just how.
No, exactly. That's and I think that the rad thing about Jai was, and what I love about Jai is that he had no respect for anybody in the water. So whereas most New Zealanders at their time, competitive surfers, would be like a little bit intimidated if they came up against Joel Parkinson or back in the day Dave Rastovich or whatever. Go, oh my god, that's the number 1 seed of the event. I'm not going to take the. I won't. I'll sit down.
But
below
he didn't
them.
give a shit.
And he didn't. And I was just like, every time he patted out, I was just like going, yes, awesome, go mate.
But that was different for him because he grew up surfing with like Parker and Dingo. And
very true. Dudes. Very true. Yeah.
But like that's what I actually learned that off him as well, because when he moved to Raglan, and he didn't give a fuck. He just had this confidence about him, and that's why he'd like win all the events.
Oh, it was awesome
because he just had this like fuck you confidence.
Oh, and I
he'd
loved
just
it.
Go out and like he wasn't like he surfs amazing, but there were other guys who surfed just as good as he did.
Yeah,
but they were doing nowhere near as well as he was.
Oh, and as a junior, he'd go into the Open at like the no fair contest or whatever, and he'd make the final just because of that fuck you attitude.
Yeah.
And hats off to him for doing it.
But that's like, it would be so much better if more Kiwi surfers had that attitude.
As a photographer, I spend so much time on the beach, and I give you a hard time about it. I have in the past, and the reason I've given you a hard time about what you do in heat is because I can see that you can do so much better. But one thing that as a photographer is like, if you're on the beach and you're shooting an event, you watch every single heat and you see the way that everybody does. I mean, like you're on, back in the day when the industry was really super strong in New Zealand. There was like 7 events in New Zealand, so every year, and I'd be at every single event. And so there came a time where me and Ben Kennings had been at the most surfing events of any other surfers in New Zealand, because that was our job to be there.
Mm.
And so as such, when you're looking through, looking through the telephoto lens of every single heat, you start, and it's just human nature that you're going to start analysing what's going on in every heat, and you get to pick up on what each competitive surfer is doing, and you're invested because they're your mates, and you see what they're doing wrong and stuff like that. And one of the things that I find so frustrating with New Zealand surfers is they're not mongrel enough.
Nah, not at all.
And, I just say to them, it's just like, I mean, no one's going to ask me because I'm not a great surfer. But I do have that experience of watching so many heats. And it's just so frustrating to see New Zealand surfers not sit on the peak, not take priority, not
go out there and just fucking get it.
Not stand over a competitor and go, oh, I can't do that because that's such and such. Fuck him.
Mm.
You're there to win the heat.
Yeah, and I've always seen that. That's the problem with New Zealand surfers. It was so passive. Like, everyone's just too fucking nice.
Polite.
Yeah, too polite.
I'll let him get that way. That could be a 10-pointer because it was his turn.
Yeah, because if someone... that's the thing that I find. Like, if someone else shows, like, a little bit of dominance, then we'll just kind of back off a little bit.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I'm definitely guilty of doing that a little bit because I'm just like... I'm just so fucking chilled. I'm just like, oh, okay, whatever. And I see that kind of with everyone. But like with Jai, like he had that, nah, fuck you. I'm winning this shit. Like, this is mine. I'm owning it.
And I loved it. Yeah. And I think Billy's pretty good at it. Like,
yeah, Billy's good. Like he did that to me real good at the Rip Curl contest this year. Yeah. Because the previous event, the backdoor one, the one that I won. Yeah. I was kind of fucking with him the whole comp.
You got in his head, eh?
I got in his head. I fully got in his head. Yeah. Like, I was hanging out with him all day. Yeah. And I'd just, I'd go out and I'd have a good heat and I'd make sure that he fucking knew that I killed that last heat. Even if I didn't totally kill it, I'd just say, hey, man, I pretty much nailed one wave. I got a little bit underscored, but I was ripping. And, I just kept, like, telling him that sort of shit. And I'd keep going up to him, how did you go in your last heat, Billy? Yeah. And he's like, oh, yeah, I did pretty good. Got a 7 and 8. I was like, oh, okay, well, I got an 8 and an 8.7. So that's actually better than what you did in your heat. And I'd say shit like that to him. And I was kidding. Like, no. I mean, I'm not really kidding. I'm just having fun with it. Yeah. But then it rattled him. And I don't know, I probably would have won anyway. Because I'm fucking awesome. But it rattled him. And then the next event, the next weekend, I did the same thing because he told me that I'd rattled him a bit. Yeah. And I was like, fucking yeah, I did. And then the next event, he was giving me a wide berth, eh? Like, I'd see him run past and I'd say, "Oh, Billy, did you see my last wave, mate? I was fucking killing it. I got a 9 or some shit like that." Yeah. And he'll just run past, didn't look at me. He just stayed away from me. He stayed away from me the whole weekend. And then in the final, I was like, I said some shit to him. I can't remember what I said. But just testing him, to see like where he was at. Yeah. And then he just didn't say anything back to me, just full stonewall me. Did he? Fully. And I was just like, you fucking dick. He got you. Yeah, but I knew what he was doing. I knew because he didn't want me to get in his head again. So then at the end he came and sat on me and I was like, oh yeah, fair play. And then I think I said something to him and he's just still stonewalling me. Yeah. And then at the Hooter, I went up to him and I was like, you fucking dickhead. And then he just started cracking up and we hugged out and shit and he was just like, you're fucking trying to get in my head all weekend again. I was like, yeah, of course I was. Because I rattled you last weekend.
To me, this is brilliant. And this is what should happen in surfing in New Zealand. This is the way that competitors should be thinking in New Zealand. And I mean, that's so good. I love that shit.
Yeah,
man.
it was so fun, bro. I had
Yeah.
so much fun with just those mind games.
Yeah.
Then before Billy went away, because he's gone away for the US Open, he got into the trials or whatever.
He fucked up yesterday.
He fucking blew it. I didn't watch his heat, but obviously he cooked it. Oh, I'm not happy about that.
No.
But I messaged him before he was going away, and I was like, oi. I was like, fuck with people, bro.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what to do. I was like, fuck with people. And I said, look, man, just like rattle off some stories to some dudes in your heat about how you've gone pig hunting and you slit a boar's throat with your hunting knife. You know, you wrestled it, butter knife, whatever. You fucking like wrangled it to the ground and shit. I was just like, just make up some stories, man. Just like act like a fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
And just get in people's heads.
Oh, see, that's it right there, man, for sure. And that's what, it's so frustrating to see us as New Zealanders being, I mean, it's not, there is so much talent here, but there is just this mindset of like not doing that. And it makes everything so much spicier and it's not like you end up hating the guy after.
Nah.
It's like you just said, you kind of joke after, like, oh, fuck, you got me, you dick, you know?
Yeah.
And that's great, I reckon, you know?
Yeah, I think it's so much fun, man. Just rattling people.
Yeah. And if everybody's doing it, I mean, it finishes after the hooter, and that's all. You know who was really good at it? It was Hutch.
Oh, Hutch, he just does that surfing.
Yeah, he's so funny.
He does it all the